Everything you have been taught about human history is a sanitized lie. We are told that civilization evolved slowly, that we were once primitive apes who learned to farm, and that the stories of ancient gods, monsters, and global floods are just fairy tales invented to scare children. But what if the monsters were real? What if the gods were actually visitors? And what if the most terrifying chapter of the Bible was deliberately ripped out, locked away in the Vatican archives, and hidden from the public for over 1,000 years? Visual, quick flashes of giant skulls, UFOs and Renaissance paintings, and the text, The Obscured Past. There is a forbidden book that tells the other side of the story. It doesn't speak of forgiveness, it speaks of a genetic abomination. It reveals that humanity was the victim of a cosmic experiment gone wrong. Welcome to The Obscured Past. Today, we are breaking the seal. We are exposing the Book of Enoch, the bloodthirsty giants known as the Nephilim, and the terrifying truth about our origins that they tried to erase. The year was 1947. In the desolate caves of Qumran, a Bedouin shepherd stumbled upon the greatest archaeological find of the century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Among these ancient texts was one that stood out. It was older than the New Testament, yet it had been banned from the official Bible by the early church fathers. This was the Book of Enoch. Why was the church so afraid of this specific text? Why did they label it heresy and try to burn every copy? Because the Book of Enoch contradicts the official narrative. It reveals that the Great Flood wasn't just a punishment for human sin. It was a strategic military action. It was a biological cleansing designed to wipe out a specific species that was never meant to exist. The book describes a group of 200 celestial beings known as the Watchers. In traditional religion, you know them as angels. But these were not the benevolent guardians you see in paintings. They were sent to Earth to observe humanity, but they went rogue. Led by an entity named Samyaza, they gathered on the summit of Mount Hermon and swore a blood oath to defy the Creator. Their crime? Such visual, beautiful ancient women looking up at the sky, a merging of light and shadow. The Book of Enoch states, "The angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, 'Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men.'" This was not just a marriage, but it's it was a violation of cosmic law. They descended to Earth, took human forms, and interbred with human women. They corrupted the human genome with alien DNA, but the physical union was only half the crime. The Watchers also corrupted the human mind. They traded their divine secrets for human bodies. One Watcher, Azazel, taught men how to make swords, knives, and shields, introducing war to a peaceful species. Others taught sorcery, astrology, and the art of deception. They accelerated human evolution before we were ready. The result of this forbidden genetic mixing was the Nephilim. These were the giants mentioned in Genesis chapter 6. But the Book of Enoch gives us the gruesome details that the Bible left out. The Nephilim were genetic monsters. They grew to impossible heights. They were physically superior, but spiritually void. And they were hungry. Visual, a field of bones, a giant hand crushing a structure, blood red moon. The text says, "And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind." Imagine the horror. A race of demigods turning on their mother's kin. They began to eat the flesh of humans and drink the blood. They slaughtered the birds, beasts, and fish. The earth became a slaughterhouse. The cry of humanity reached the heavens. The great flood was the only option. It wasn't rain, it was sterilization. The water was sent to drown the giants and cleanse the earth of the Watcher's DNA. You might think this is just a myth. But ask yourself, why have thousands of giant skeletons been found across North America, only to vanish into the vaults of the Smithsonian? Why do cultures from the Sumerians to the Native Americans all share the same story of star people and giants? The evidence is there, but it has been suppressed to protect the timeline of history. But let's go deeper. Let's look at this through a modern lens. If you replace the word angel with extraterrestrial, the story remains exactly the same. In ancient Sumeria, the oldest civilization on Earth, they didn't call them Watchers. They called them the Anunnaki, those who came from the heavens. Just like the Watchers, the Anunnaki were said to have genetically engineered humans to be a worker race. Visual, a primitive man looking at a futuristic spacecraft. Enoch describes being taken to the heavens in a crystal house surrounded by tongues of fire. He saw the Earth from orbit, To a primitive man in 3000 BC, this was magic. To us, it sounds like an abduction aboard a spacecraft. Was the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden actually a metaphor for advanced technology? Was the fall of man actually the moment we were given dangerous weapons we weren't evolved enough to control? The Book of Enoch was banned because it blurs the line between religion and science fiction. It suggests that we are a hybrid species caught in a war between celestial powers, but here is the most terrifying question: if the Watchers were imprisoned and the Nephilim were destroyed, why does the Bible say, there were giants in the earth in those days, Makambamo, and also after that, and also after that? Are they still here? Are they watching us right now, waiting for the right moment to return? We have only scratched the surface of the obscured past. If you believe that history has been rewritten to hide the truth, join our community. Hit that subscribe button for the obscured past, and turn on notifications. Leave a comment below. Do you think the Nephilim are extinct, or are they hiding in the unexplored corners of our world? I am your host, and I will see you in the next investigation. The truth is out there.